Hi, this is Shannon. I want to share with you today some homeschool must-haves or things that have been super helpful for me to have in our homeschool. Also some things that maybe aren't absolutely necessary, but really helpful and I would consider getting if you can. So especially if you are new to homeschooling or just looking to do some spring cleaning, purge some things, see if you need some things for next year, I hope this video is helpful for you. If you are new to my channel, I am a homeschooling mom of 3 little ones, 6, 4, and 2, and we do classical homeschooling and love it. I get to tutor the obesitarians and I will tutor again next year too, so stay tuned for Cycle 2 tutor videos coming up in the next month or so. Also, make sure you stick around to the end of this video because I have made a homeschool planner for next year and I'm really excited to share it. I just wanted something different from the planners that I found that I could buy, and so I made my own. So I'm excited to share it with you, and if you like it, you can get one too. I will explain more about that at the end of my video. So first you can see this rolling cart. So it has 3 levels, and these carts have been super helpful for me to have just to stay organized with our art supplies and paper and resources. So I have one upstairs in our kitchen area because we do a lot of our homeschooling just around the kitchen table. And I also have one downstairs in my basement office area that I'll show you. So in this upstairs one at the top, I keep this circular pencil marker holder. It spins, just really handy because these come out. So if my girls want to use markers, they take this one out, or if they want to use crayons, etc. So it's just nice to be able to take one out, put it on the table, whatever they're using, and then put it back. So I keep that at the top. And then on the other levels, I just have the math and reading curriculum we're doing several days a week. And then I just have some paper and stuff like that. So just supplies that we use on a daily basis instead of keeping everything on my kitchen table, which I do keep some things on my kitchen table, but instead of everything, it's been nice to have a place to just put it. And then I roll this into our pantry, usually most of the time, unless we're using it. And that way my little 2-year-old doesn't get into it, and it just makes the kitchen space look a little bit more cleaned up. I also wanted to share up here, you can see the chalkboards behind me. So these have been really handy for just writing up the Bible verse we're memorizing on a particular week. I like to go through Sally and Clay Clarkson's 24 Family Ways with my kids. And so I usually write a family way and a Bible verse. Right now I just have 2 different Bible verses because my daughters are memorizing one with our church and one with the attributes of Jesus coloring book we are doing over the summer. I will link my video below if you want to learn more about this if you missed it, but this is free and it's a way that kids can learn more about the attributes of Jesus and memorize scripture as well. I made these little scripture memory cards that go along with it. So I will link that video if you're curious about this, but these chalkboards have just been really helpful. I have them right by my kitchen table. I'm sitting at my kitchen table right now. And so they're something that we see every meal, and it's just a great way to memorize scripture together. This is the other movable cart I have. I have this one down in my basement office. So I like to just keep books and resources I want to have handy, but I don't necessarily use on a daily basis, like our reading curriculum, 24 Family Ways, some devotional books that I use sometimes, but not necessarily every single day. I have the Foundations of the Bible study in here from last year and previous years, but we're not currently doing that right now because it's summertime, so I have them down here instead of upstairs. I have some reading and math curriculum supplies right here, and then just some more supplies at the bottom. So just stuff I want to keep handy, but I don't necessarily need every single day. So I would highly recommend investing in these carts. They're super handy, love that they move, and I definitely get a lot of use out of them. I also want to share how I use binders. Pretty simple, but I have a different color binder set for each cycle, you can see. So cycle 1 up here, and then I have cycle 3 down here and cycle 2. These binders just really help me keep things organized. I print out resources from the Sandbox e-zine from CC Connected that I think I will use. So we've already gone through cycle 2 in our family, and so In these binders, I already have resources. So this year I'll just kind of go through and take stuff out I don't need anymore, add stuff in that I do need, but it's just nice to have a place to organize that. This is my first binder for cycle 2. You can see it says weeks 1 through 5. I'm actually going to change that and make it say weeks 1 through 6. I'm going to do one binder for each quarter. This is just from last time we went through cycle 2. So I'm going to adjust it a little bit, but I want to show you what's inside. I have these dividers. I will link them in my blog post if you're curious, and I use these labels that fit them really well to say the different weeks. So for example, under week 1, I have printouts from the Driven by Grace Bible study that we use, and I have some papers from the Sandbox e-zine and Scribblers in here that I saved. Here's a coloring page from the Sandbox e-zine. So just a few things I saved. Again, I'm going to add to this year and maybe take away some things, but that is what I store in these binders, is just printouts from CC Connected and other things that I want to use that I can put in a binder. I also want to share these tubs. This is a great way to organize stuff too. You can see I have one for each of the 3 cycles, and I moved cycle 2 to the top since that's what we are doing next year. So inside the tub, you can see I have file folders for each week. And in these file folders, I put things I've laminated or things that are resources that I want to use that I can't really like hole punch and put in a binder. A lot of times I put tutor tools and resources in these since I've tutored since we started Classical Conversations. So it's just a handy way to keep resources that you don't want to hole punch and put in a binder. And then each year you can just go through, look in the file folder of that particular week, and just see what resources you already have, and then you can just add what you want to that. So it works really well. So I will show you what's in my first week of cycle 2, so cycle 2 week 1 folder. These are things from last year and a few things that I've prepared for this year. I'll probably add to it, but I'll show you what I have so far. I always print these fridge facts. You can find these on CC Connected. Just has all the memory work laid out really nicely. So I will link below where you can find these. And then I use Kimberly Veely's. I mentioned her before, but I love her visuals for the memory work. I'll link her stuff below. You can find her on Etsy. But I have the skip counting ones, and I already have these laminated. So I like to put these on the wall around our kitchen table so my kids and I can see them throughout the week as we're practicing the memory work. I also have the English one, the Latin one for this week, history. So these are all from Kimberly Veely. Her Etsy shop is Hope and Home Co., but I will link her below so you can find her stuff. Her science cards. These are the 7 days of creation. So I made a little index card for each one. I keep them on our kitchen table so we can just look at them throughout the week. I also have this laminated from the first time we went through cycle 2. It's just from the Sandbox e-zine. I don't think Kimberly has made geography visuals for cycle 2 memory work yet, or at least I haven't seen them yet. I bet she's working on them. So I will probably use hers if she provides those, but I have this geography visual. Again, you can find this on CC Connected, and I'll link below where you can find these as well. I also have this Latin one from the first time we went through cycle 2. So that's the kind of stuff I have in each folder. Again, some folders have more stuff, some have less. Each week this year, I'll add stuff to it as well. Just a nice way to stay organized, and then you can go to it at the beginning of the year when you're getting ready for the cycle and just be like, oh great, I already made this and I have this, I can use this again. So I highly recommend these tubs as a way to organize. I'll link those below. I also wanted to show you guys my printer and my laminator that I use all the time. So this printer is awesome. I print a lot and I really don't go through that much ink at all. The ink lasts a really long time. So if you're a homeschooling mom and need a new printer, I would highly recommend this kind. It's worked really well for me. And this laminator is great too. I use it all the time as well, and it's working really well still. I've had it for several years now. So those are things that I use all the time, and I would highly recommend if you are homeschooling or if you need a replacement of one of those items. I also use this cutting board all the time because I make games and activities for my kids a lot. So if you are into that, I would recommend a cutting board if you don't already have one. It's really nice. I'm actually considering getting a binding machine too because I make lots of notebooks and I would probably save money if I just bought one instead of taking it to FedEx or Staples or someplace like that. But I haven't got one of those yet. So if you have one and have a recommendation, please let me know. All right, the other thing I wanted to highly recommend, you can see inside my closet here, I have my tutor boards that I made. I'll link below a video if you're looking to make a tutor board for next year. But also these clear tubs you can see behind me, they have all my tutor supplies. Since I've tutored since we've started Classical Conversations, I've collected a lot of stuff that I use for tutoring to make it fun. And some of it I use at home too, but I would highly recommend getting these. These are from IKEA and they're just really handy and they're a great size to just keep a small amount of things. So for example, I have like little light wands, erasers, bouncy balls, just all kinds of stuff like that. So it's really easy to find stuff before our community day when I need it. And if you're curious about how I organize more of our homeschool stuff, I will link a video I did all about organization below. But I just wanted to recommend those little tubs because they have served me well. All right. Also, this is definitely not necessary, but it's nice to have. This is my timeline card box. Inside, you can see I have the timeline cards organized by week, so I don't have to figure out like which ones go with which week. It just keeps them organized, really easy to use and then put back when we're done with that particular week. If you especially are tutoring and have all the timeline cards, it's nice to have a way to organize them. I would recommend this. All right, as I promised, I want to share with you this homeschool planner I just finished making. I'm super excited about it because I have bought several homeschool planners in the past and they're great, but I just wanted some different things to be included or customized a little bit differently. I also wanted to include the Cycle 2 memory work. So I have a page for each of the 24 weeks of Cycle 2 with the Foundation's memory work on each page. So I made this in hopes that it will bless other people too. I made it dated or undated. So if you prefer it undated, you can definitely do that. I also made the pages as customizable as possible. So some of them are filled in with everything that I wanted, and then I left some with lots of blanks if you want to do them differently. So I'll show you a few of the pages so you can get an idea what it looks like. So at the beginning, I have the year at a glance. So I'm starting with July this year and going through June of 2026. And then each month I have a habit tracker. So I love tracking habits that I'm working to cultivate and grow in my life personally and as a family. I think it's just really important to always be seeking to grow and change in little ways. I've been encouraged reading several books that talk about how you can just make slight changes in your life and they can have a huge impact. So anyway, I have a daily habit tracker and then a weekly and monthly for each month. Then I have a week overview page. So I have an option for the dated weeks. So I have the dates in there, or one where you can fill in the date, either one. And then this is what each day looks like. So you can see this is the undated one. So you can see you write in the date here, and then I like to have a subject focus each day. So like one day I'll focus on geography, one day history, one day science. And so I have a space for that. I also have a template that leaves this blank if you want to put something else here. And then I have today's schedule. So I like to just kind of divide our day into blocks rather than specific times. So I have like early morning, our morning time. Mid-morning is when we usually either go have a play date or go on a walk or something. I have early afternoon, which is like lunchtime, a little bit more reading. Then I have quiet time, late afternoon, and evening. But I do have an option where these are all blank if you want to customize it to what your day looks like, if it's different. I have prayers and praises section. I have a to-do section, appointments, and then a meal plan, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, water, because that's important, right? And then a Bible verse to meditate on. So I'll show you too. This is August 7th. I do have a dated version that already has the dates in there, again, starting in July, going through June of 2026.
and I have a different Bible verse on each page. I had so much fun with this because it was just fun to look at Bible verses that are good to memorize. So I picked a verse from a chapter that corresponds to the day. So like Proverbs 7 goes with August 7th. So different one for each day. If you want the dated version, it's just kind of a perk of that. And I also have some special pages. So like curriculum planning, I have attendance, I have a reading log to record what your kids read and what you really liked. I also have a book wish list, and I have a couple trackers. So I have an exercise log, a field trip log, homeschool expense tracker, scripture memorization chart. I like to record the verses my children have memorized and that I've memorized so we can review them. And then there's other pages too that I will let you look at if you are interested. You can browse all the details of this planner. I will link below in the description where you can find it. So again, I'm really excited about it. I tried to think of everything that a homeschool mom could need and tried to make it as customizable as possible, or just all done if you want it dated for this coming school year. So I have both options, and I have different color schemes too. So check it out. I hope you like it. Let me know if you have any questions, or if you're like, man, I really wish this was different, I can probably try to help you. So let me know, and I hope that it blesses you.
Thanks so much for watching. I hope you found this helpful. Please let me know if there are things that you feel like are essential to your homeschool that I didn't mention. I would love to learn from you. Maybe there's things I could benefit from investing in, so please let me know. Also, I wanted to share one thing that I thought I needed at the very beginning and spent a lot of time researching, never got thankfully, was a big whiteboard. I felt like I needed a big whiteboard for my kids to do math problems on and stuff, and maybe I'll need that one day. I don't know, I'd be curious if any of you have that and find that helpful. But right now, especially with younger kids, we do most of our homeschool stuff around the kitchen table at breakfast time, and then we just read and play. And so you don't need a whiteboard for that. Anyway, that's just one of those things I really thought I needed. I thought I needed my own homeschool space, and it has been nice to have a little office space for me to organize my stuff. But as far as a space for us to homeschool as a family, again, it's just around the kitchen table. If you are enjoying my videos, please subscribe to my channel. I'm planning to post videos throughout the summer, and like I said, I will be posting Cycle 2 tutor videos very soon here, and other just Cycle 2 related videos. Also, check out my Instagram. I like to post what we're doing throughout the week and just updates about resources I've created and want to share. And check out my blog where you can find a lot of homeschool resources, a lot of them free. So check that out. Thanks again for watching, and have a great day.